A scary one, especially when paired with an eco in lane. You can really get some work done and then just be a menace.
This man, Ezreal Corki, I think is probably the safest bet here.
Yeah, unless you do want to thin out the jungle. That could be another way to do it, and Jarvan is going to be the ban away. I actually probably would prefer to target Pays and some of those more mid-game champs, but not going to be the case. Is Nami going to be taken away here, and I'm not allowed to play that alongside a theoretical Lucian.
What if they do something really crazy and just, now with the Jarvan ban, if they ban Ezreal and then just go for like a Sivir Lulu lane, and ban the Wukong as well. Karma's gone. This is going to get really interesting down here. You can go, you could have, I feel like, gone Ezreal Karma as DRX, which is where that Karma ban comes through, and feel pretty good about it. Sivir feels really good here, especially because she can empower these frontliners. Sivir Lulu's not really a traditional lane. I don't think you necessarily want the Lulu in that lane, but I'm just so caught up on this pick because of the empowering it does for these frontliners. Let's look for the Alistar instead into the Nico. There's not, like, the cameraman's like, are you sure about this?
And I'm not, because there is still the opportunity for Oner to pick up the jungle Sylas if he'd like to, and have a whole lot of value there.
Think about that.
Yeah, there's the hover. I mean, Lulu is available. Why not just pick it?
Yeah.
You have a... I know it's an ultimate that's pulverized, but I mean, you still do the same thing with Wild Growth. I feel like that was just a little bit of a mistake here, but let's see whether Oner does lock this in, and he does.
Let's see what they're cooking. Like, this feels like they're just changing the identity of the draft in some way. But if you go for like Smolder or something, Gio's done this in the past, like that lane loses so hard to anything.
Yeah.
Even Kai'Sa in this lane, in fact. So it's just going to be Corki Alistar. That's what we ended up with. I feel like this draft started off with so much potential. The Corki can follow up really well to the CC in the front line. Can Valkyrie away from engage because there's a lot of it here on the side of T1, so relatively safe, but I feel like part of why you pick Corki, and in fact a large part of why you pick it, is lane dominance, and you would win against Kai'Sa if it was a melee support, but it's going to be a little bit trickier. I'm not saying this is unplayable, but it's a little bit trickier here. This is probably going to be one of those lanes where you see Andal press heal.
Eco, maybe that's the thinking. I just don't know whether it was worth it. Let's get into game number 2. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see whether it's going to be as bloodthirsty here in Game 2 as it was in Game number 1. I don't know whether it is possible, because the last game was just kind of insanity the entire time. But with these drafts, there are certainly going to be some avenues for some action early on. Here on this bottom side, though, I feel like it's just going to be rough times for DRX. As Andal already in position. Maybe this is going to be one of these games where Willa goes for like an early, like level 2 or 3 gank or something like that in this bottom lane. That could be an opportunity, but I don't know. Some way of bailing these guys out could be a really big deal.
All right, let's see. Where's that heal going to be used? Level 1 heal is like my new favorite thing in lane, where you're like, aha, there it is. There he goes.
Well, he does press the heal button.
Hashtag won the trade.
We've also got a barrier used by Gio, and that is going to be the advantage that T1 has as Pays holds onto his.
Hashtag lost the trade.
Yeah, it's not great. All right, there's another headbutt. Andal just making use of these buttons when they come back off cooldown, but this wave is going to be shoving into DRX. They're going to have to do their very best to farm it up underneath the turret. And T1 are going to be feeling very, very good. Oh, the cute little headbutt. There's a flash answer there from Andal.
That's how you use your summoners at level 1. You gotta, you know, just
press
as much
them
damage in as you can. Like headbutt on cooldown, flash, of course, because if you get rooted there, you lose the game. So one more headbutt.
Cool. There is a nice little snare onto Andal, who takes most of his health bar in damage.
Oof. Oner is here. He's like, you know what? That's too much damage. I'm looking for something.
Well, let's see whether this dive is going to work. It's a little bit dicey, but Oner is making his way in anyway. There's the headbutt out. His chains are not going to land. Still there looking for it, wanting to find that angle. Of course, long cooldown on the headbutt for now, as Oner is going to get taken down first. And there is a very dead Kai'Sa as well. What the hell was that?
I mean, when I watched them stay after the initial chains combo was set up, I was like, am I missing something here? I think they can't do it. And then
you weren't the only one missing something there, Wolf.
Oner's just like, all right, I guess we lost the game. I mean, that against other teams, like if that happened against Gen G, Ruler's got 2 kills, you're like, well, I'll see you in game 3. In this game, it's still not great. The Corki has 650 gold, the advantage, in a lane that you're not supposed to be able to really play that well without the Alistar, but T1 gave some donations. We didn't read the message out on the stream. Oner did not look happy on the player cam. He's down a level now as well because he spent so much time looking for that gank.
I think Oner has an idea that Andal is in the area.
Yeah, he's very aware that this is a strong possibility. And this is painful for the T1 squad right now.
Very much is. You got Keria moving up just to try and allow Oner to get something done in this jungle right now. Willer is having a very good time. We'll be able to take the top side scuttle. Looks like the bottom one will be going over to Oner here, but Gio is going to move in.
Gio's like, I have tier and 2 longswords. Good luck with that.
Yeah, and Andal's just going to trample Faker here as well, here in this mid lane. And so it is just kind of DRX taking control of everything all over the map. That was one failed dive from T1, and it now feels like DRX owns Summoner's Rift.
I mean, it was a miserably failed dive, to be fair, as well. And Gio is down a lot of farm, but I don't think he really cares.
No.
Because he's up on farming champions.
And there is a wave that's crashing on forward as well, so he should be able to equalize somewhat. Let's have a look at this again.
Watch Andal in this moment. He messes up this combo, and then Oner just walks up, takes turret aggro, gets pulverized, and then Pays still have his turret aggro right afterwards.
Yeah, I think the fact that Pays picked up turret aggro there was the biggest problem. I think that Oner died a little bit earlier, perhaps. It could have been just one casualty in that fight. Could have been just them going for like accepting a 1-for-1. But even then, I don't know whether it's necessarily worth it. I think walking away probably would have given you a lot more. But still, that is a great advantage here for DRX at the beginning of this game and really bailing out what can be a very difficult lane to navigate.
Like the other thing is, beyond this, the bottom lane, which now the CS has reached parity, as you mentioned, with the waves crashing through, that was likely to happen. The jungle's really messed up. Like, Oner is level 4, like early 4. He's about to be 2 levels down on Willer. And
yeah, Willer's going to
have level 6, and so does Yukal, so they can try to set up some dives. Like, they can play through top or bottom here, or even try to make a play onto Faker. And so it's really terrifying the next few minutes here for T1 without that critical ultimate. Oner perhaps may misread this as well, because Willer, he doesn't have 6, but he's so close.
Yeah, pinging on the Dragon for now, so not looking to actually answer a potential gank in this bottom lane as Oner doesn't find the chains yet again. Andal able to use those hooves for walking. And gets himself out of there. Willer is moving over. Is just going to start off this Dragon by the looks of things.
Yeah, Rich gonna... I thought he was maybe gonna proxy this next wave, but not necessarily gonna matter. We have seen like the Renekton roam into mid as a thing. He does ping on the way. He is gonna look for it. Faker might actually get caught while they're doing this Dragon. This would actually be insane. Like, look, he does not commit, but still could have been insane if he actually gets that collapse. It's gonna be a free Dragon. That Dragon smite will give Willer level 6, I believe. Should be enough experience there. In fact, not even going to smite.
There he goes.
Just level 6.
Got it locked down. So, like you say, level 6, almost double the farm of Oner here.
Onto Faker as well. Faker has to leave.
And Willer, I think, could have almost headed over towards the enemy Raptors at the same time, but instead he's going to go grab himself the crab here on the top side of the map. And just continue to have that advantage. Bit of a crab monopoly here for Willer thus far.
I mean, you can understand the thought process behind Oner looking for that gank bottom side there as well. He knows he has the timing before Willer's going to get there. He had some information on the timing in which Willer was coming back. Is Jiwoo?
Really? Did we need to do this? Don't know whether we necessarily did. As Pays elects not to flash over.
Mind you, he's holding a nearly 200 gold bounty. That was...
Yeah, he did. That was unnecessary.
That was something, but at least he didn't die.
True.
He, if you're a T1 fan, you're like, okay, we got both sums, nice. He didn't get the kill, but still pretty solid.
I think
also,
absolutely worth for T1.
Like, he can't farm very easily here. I suppose he's going to come over a little bit later, and they will let him have it as Keria finishes his back. But
yeah, okay, fine. It's fine. It's fine. We need question marks in the chat on both sides of the rift. And Gio, I mean, maybe Andal, he thought Andal was closer than he actually was, or something like that. Maybe there was a little bit of a fumble there.
Look at the... Oh, it just changed as it both bottom mid laners had 69 stacks. It was perfect parity.
Oh, that's pretty nice.
Geo a little bit late back to lane, though. Won't be able to match it. Looks like UCal's going to pull ahead.
Yeah.
But neither of them can hold a candle at Faker's tier stacks. He's got a pretty significant lead.
Yeah.
It's going to be a long time before Faker is really big in this game. But the Corki is pretty accelerated, and I wonder now how DRX utilizes this. They got the first dragon right. They had the Ambessa ult advantage. Still up a level, but the ult level, like the 6 to 5, is way more significant. Hasn't been able to utilize that, or wasn't able to utilize that. So how do DRX turn this into a free win from the mistake of earlier? Right now, it's just group around bottom and see what we can get, because UCal has his ultimate, and they could actually try to go for a counter gank here. They do decide to play a little bit slower. Because I feel like as this lead continues to stay about the same, T1 feel more and more okay with things. It was kind of like, oh, is this game even playable? And now it's like Pays has a 14 CS advantage. Gio lost his sums, and the Silas got his ultimate and can farm properly now. And yes, he's 30 CS down, but that 500 gold lead will matter less and less. And he's still Silas.
Yeah. We'll just have to see how it is going to develop, because DRX haven't necessarily utilized the lead that they picked up all that effectively, as Andal moving down towards his bottom side. But it was always going to be a tough game to play before the mid game sort of set in. There's good Valkyrie there from Geo to get out of the way of the Tangle Barbs.
Okay, UCal is on a ward. Otherwise, this could have been kind of interesting.
Not in the end, as Faker does actually close in on him here. Let's see. There's a Pulverize just to try and interrupt. And the Unbreakable Will is now there for Oner. Still not a whole lot to fight for here in this river, unless you talk about a crab being a powerful thing. As in goes Andal, triple Pulverize! Pop Blossom there to answer, but it's only onto the cow, as Oner is just unkillable with that ultimate running. The rest of DRX are looking for him though, and down will go the Silas, and Keria pops as well. Once the ultimate wears off, I guess the Silas is able to be taken down.
Yeah, that was a really calculated fight there from DRX. Just knowing that in this skirmish, they have the tools, they have the setup. No fear from Andal. Again, this guy is a man unchained, it feels like, in this version of DRX. As watch the setup here. Geo's layering damage, and Andal finds the triple knockup. And look at how much Geo is able to do. Avoids the Pop Blossom. Now that's critical. Andal's sacrifice is not in vain. Geo takes out Keria, and they can turn his eyes forward here as Oner tries to get back into the Realm Warp with that charge, and is taken out promptly as Faker almost saves his life. At least he's able to get out. And the gold lead nearly doubles here for DRX. The kills for Geo, in fact, do, as he's already got his Triforce online.
Yeah, didn't realize that he had picked up every single kill in this game so far. This Corki is extremely fed. And we were saying, like, we weren't all that enthused by the Corki pick. Maybe we should have been more enthused,
Coach Boys, maybe a shot call on this one.
Yeah, UCal is going to be throwing back Keria here. Does have to flash to get himself out of the way, but will be able to survive.
I just like to think that Coach Voice after a one-team fight like that is like the Han Solo, like, great kid, don't get cocky. She was like, I got him, I got him.
That might have actually been how the Coach Voice was used. Maybe that's why we're not actually putting it on screen. It did happen, but we're just not showing it.
Do you think the people who watch LCK now even know about the OG trilogy of Star Wars?
I imagine, like, it's been re-released so many times that they have to, right?
I hope so.
Surely. As Rich is going to be looking for a little bit of an engage onto Doran here, who's kiting this one out quite nicely. UCal moving on over those. There's a Seismic Shell flash into an ulti that hits the air, and Doran is still going to be able to walk his way out, but does have to expend the flash in order to do so.
Still, he survives. It's going to be plate gold going over to UCal. I think too big a mounting from this. The push in the bottom lane, I was going to say someone's going to have to answer that. Rich will be the one to do so, but not before two plates go over.
Clears out that wave quite nicely, so very well done there.
The next dragon is in 4 minutes, but I mean, it's Mountain Soul for this comp, which has a robust front line already, and then you consider the 2 Drake lead they have of amazing stats picked up here just in the Infernal and the Hex Tech alone. Feeling very good about the chances.
There was a Coach Voice. Let me read it out to you here. We've got some fantastic translation. When it does come up, we will let you know exactly what does happen. So here is the Pop Blossom from Keria, and Rich, the slice. That's how you do it.
Slice flash, He's like, I can flash a dice.
Is this actually the latest grubs that we've had ever?
Probably.
because it took a very long time. As now Andor is wrapping around, looking for an angle onto Doran here. Remember, doesn't have flash, so it was a pretty gankable target.
When you get a lead like this and you have good shot calling and you have a pick comp, you kind of just turn into piranhas that, you know, are looking for any bleeding members, anyone who's kind of caught out of position. They made that play happen, which, you know, we can lightly spoil. That was a majority of what that coach comms were about there. And when we were talking about the catch, they were very happy with that.
Yep.
In the jungle, and they're just continuing to just pinch sides. Faker does not have teleport, right? So if he gets caught, he is in big trouble. As Rich, speaking of getting caught.
Yeah, he's going to get walloped, and Rich is just dead. Solo bolo there for Doran, and they got his flash earlier on, and as it turns out, doesn't actually really matter too much. There's a pulverize onto Oner as once again, he has the unbreakable will. He does use it here to get out of dodge, and will be safe for the moment.
Trying to get something cross-map, but it fails, and this means Doran is just going to have this extra wave coming through. Rich feels really bad. You can see on the player cam about this because he's just opened up an entire weak point on the map as the rest of the team was pushing topside there for the pick and fail. Even get a plate in mid, and Doran is going to get the whole turret.
Yeah,
first turret of the game.
That's a lot of extra money here over to T1. That is completely evening out the gold lead that DRX had put together for themselves.
Yeah, this is really rough. You know, the macro here, I feel like it was not bad for DRX, but it was a bit all in to make that play topside. Gets slowed here. And red buff actually for Doran, so he is just going to run him down. Gets the mega. And you can see he tries to dash.
He just walks at him and he's dead.
Toss up.
There we go.
Got him, he says.
That is about as simple as it gets. So really well played, and this is why the Nara is so valuable in this matchup as well. You really can just kind of keep the Renekton at arm's length, but Rich just a little bit overextended.
That red buff did massive work, and perhaps something that Rich just didn't calculate for there. The wave wasn't in a great spot. Doran, you could see, is the gold lead. It's a small one, but in his lane matchup, a hefty one. So he's a big threat, and like, T1 are already starting to get online, you know? The scaling of this Nara in terms of what he could do in team fights and in sides to shut down this Renekton is already massive. And the Corki lead is still there, but it's much smaller than it once was.
And the bottom lane quests have been completed here for T1, but not quite there for DRX just yet. And so Pays feeling a little bit better at this moment in time.
I mean, that's going to really be a lot of extra income that helps close that gap, what is left of it, for Geo.
Yeah.
And you could see, like, he had the kills, he had the lead, but it hasn't translated into a second item spike, and his tier obviously is a ways away from finishing. And we're only 15.5 minutes in, but it feels like this Corki, you know, was so far ahead, and then you look at the items, you're like, what does it really mean right now? Not too much.
Does need to complete this quest. It should be done relatively soon, as now Keria was thinking about an angle, but just a shape splitter throwing a clone forward. 30 seconds on this next dragon. DRX, they're able to lock down this third one. I mean, that is a huge deal. Mountain Soul will be such a big thing for this squad. Add to that durability, but also putting on the threat of Soul this early in the game is such a big deal. Rip Gerald does come on through, though, as DRX are going to abandon Shelly. She's going to get a bit of a headache, but will be able to get some work done here for DRX.
And they're trying to group around this Mountain Soul point, already having control over the river, and now trying to push that advantage into the jungle itself. Not quite able to really get the success they're looking for here. Doran's Narbar, I'm curious about. Okay, he does not have one, so it's going to take him a little bit, but he can use Rich as a battery to try to charge that up. This is definitely contestable here, especially because Faker does have Realm Warp. It's going to take a long time for him to get there, but if they can slow this down, T1 absolutely have a fight here.
Yeah, can't quite see the health bar on that dragon for now, as Oner does pick up that Unbreakable Will one more time. Yukal is going to block off the entry as the steal does not come on in. Now Willer looks for the angle. The Unbreakable Will is up, and there is the public execution for Willer into the backline. Meanwhile, Doran finds a gigantic Gnaw to take down the cow, and DRX are just looking to exit the fight. There's the dash cannon from Keria wanting to try and get on in there, but the flash forward from Doran, it just gets a flash from the enemy. And one kill for a dragon for Soul Point. I think DRX are pretty happy about this.
You know, at this stage of the LCK Cup last year, people were like, I just don't know if Doran's going to gel with this roster. At this stage of the LCK Cup in 2026 for Game 2 of T1 against DRX, it's like, all right, Doran's keeping these guys in the game. Doran got a solo kill. Doran's making that happen in that big team fight with the Narbar set. Gets the big wallop. Now let's see if he gets out of here, though. A bit of a caster curse. Teleport?
Yeah, there's a shove, though, so not going to be getting out of this one. The mini Gnar that could. Yukal takes a fair bit of damage, but he'll be all right. Does have the Seraph's shield. And so a little bit unfortunate. Maybe that's caster
Yukal
curse.
dead.
Now, yeah, there's a flash in. Yukal's really dead.
All right. Silliness ensues again.
Indeed. It's the circus one more time. T1 fans very well aware of what can happen. As Rich and Faker facing off. The Faker of Hearts versus the Faker of just Faker.
Yeah, he's just Faker, yeah.
He's just the Faker.
The flash of leak. No, it's just Faker.
True.
The Daigo of. No, not really. Now, when you look at this fight, a lot of resources come in to make sure they can secure this dragon, including the Weaver's Wall. That really doesn't do too much. Like, it keeps the rest of T1 from wrapping around, but Oner can still get in here. It's incredibly close. And then in live.
Okay, got another battle here as Public Execution is stolen away. Andal is likely to be very dead. Voidseeker is actually what finishes it off there. Pays on the board now with his first kill of the game. And, you know, I got a few question marks popping up above my head, but just sometimes don't ask.
Yeah, his teammates wanted to put question marks above his head, but they decided to be respectful, which I think is what we should all strive to be.
Yep.
Rage Blade's on for Pays before the Muramana transforms, by the way, for Geo, so kind of eclipsed him there as... Yeah, this is...
Trading places.
Still some question marks, but again, trying to aggressively play through topside vision, try to siege up that mid turret. It's just a fair punish play there from T1 as the observers showcase here that turret is still alive.
Well, Andal is going to park himself alongside Geo yet again. As Pays and Keria, they do have Oner there. Public Execution connects onto the cow. Flash out from Andal is going to get him to relative safety. And now Faker dealing with Rich and with Willa. And Rich is going to be able to take him down this time with the help of his friends. Nice little pick up there, and 2 minutes until that Mountain Soul as Pays gone for the 1v1 here, and Oner is going to turn up to make it a little bit unfair. In the meantime, though, Yukal looks for the angle. Flash out from Pays, almost gets tagged by the seismic shove anyway.
That should be the mid turret, though, in that exchange. Big W for DRX here.
Yeah, Willer actually diving on in for this one as well. And the jungle ambassador we saw already. I mean, Lucid demonstrated exactly how dangerous the pick can be.
And we're just going to trade turrets here on top lane, which is fine. Top and bottom, that is to say, by top laners. But this is a big win for DRX because this opens up the map significantly for Willer. He's been a level up this whole game. That remains the case. And Doran's a level up on Rich, or half a level, but will, of course, have the 15/14. But Rich has been able to make some plays here with this Ambessa, and this duo that they locked in early in draft is getting worked on in this somewhat scrappy mid-game, I would say. It's Faker who's pushing aggressively here. He wants to finish his Seraphs. He's just farming as hard as he can. Problem with Ryze, if he gets caught like this, even though he's super safe, you know, if he has empowered recall, oftentimes you could just push up and get out. If you get caught like this, you don't have TP, so you're not going anywhere for a while. So then they make the play mid off of Andal nearly getting caught. So grab that turret there before Faker can respond. When you're in situations like this with the Ryze, like he clears 2 waves, he backs, he's got home guards, he doesn't care. Now his Seraphs is completed, and now he's going to look to build that actualizer. It's going to take a while. Feels like we kind of rushed through this early game because of the Corki situation, but now we've kind of slowed things down, and the game is really even. The big question mark, though, is who takes this dragon? Because if DRX secure this, the rest of the game becomes so much easier. If they try and lose the team fight, it feels like T1 don't care about the first 3 dragons after that. In fact, maybe they don't care about dragons at all, because T1 and they're doing Baron, and there's no vision here.
Yeah, they are a lot of pings. So I think DRX has an idea of what's going on, but this Baron is going down so quickly. Andal booking it to get himself in, but I think it's just gone. Highway robbery as they take it away. Keria off to the side. Willer is going to catch him as now Yukal making his way forward. Rich in the front line as he flashes on forward, slices, dices. There's the ulti from Willer. So sick on the play as they dive on top of Pays, who look to get over the wall. The cow is going to get sacrificed, but the Baron is not worth this much money anymore. And they lose a couple of deaths and sacrifice the Mountain Soul.
The Mountain Soul is now going over to DRX. I don't know what happened in the coach comms there, but I'm sure we're going to get an update on that because that happened as the Baron contest came through. Maybe they just told Rich, just send it, bro. And he did. And he did it, and it looked beautiful. They are able to kill Pays there on the backside of the fight. So it's a trade even on kills, but the jungler here for DRX is going to smite this dragon away. You have to imagine no way for Oner to get in. 1400 the smite, and Mountain Soul belongs to the underdogs, as maybe they get even more.
Yeah, here's a teleport in, Sterix is now completed here for Rich. He's looking to try and kill Doran. The mini Gnar that could. Cannot. Not this time. As he'll get shoved and destroyed. Unfortunate positioning there for the Gnar. But well played for DRX to be able to capitalize on it. Let's check out the coach voice.
용칠 때 나르 쪽 탈리아 궁극고 레네 강화 W 연결해서 그거 해줘 무조건. 알았지?
So, talking about how to play around the Gnar here for this dragon fight.
Yep. Let's look for the Talia ult and W engage plays and utilize our Renekton. And look what happened!
And look at this. I mean, Rich goes in here, and you can see there's a call for a moment to go out. And Rich is like, all right, well, I've got this much fury, and maybe we can turn this. Goes back in, gets a huge heal, survives for so long. Oner goes in to follow, and then this ultimate here from Pays backfires completely. Just goes in by himself and dies.
And the Pop Blossom gets no value because the wall kind of blocked off everything, and then everyone kind of got to vacate the area as Faker is behind the turret. T1 kind of closing in on DRX for the moment, but look at that fresh shield that they've got for themselves. Mountain Soul circulating, a cheeky Hex Tech and Infernal there as well. I mean, there's a lot of great stats.
Sterix with this Renekton and the Ambessa just having so many additional resistances is going to feel fantastic in scrappy fights, which feels like every fight has been. Gio trying to bait them.
Oh dear, Headbutt Pulverize does come on through. There is the public execution, and Keria could do absolutely nothing about it. Oner tries to steal away the dominance. The Gnar is massive though from Doran. Can he save the fight? The answer is no. Rich is a huge, huge crocodile, and he'll just cut up T1. DRX are looking to head towards game number 3, Wolf.
It looks
despite
like it.
Doran's best efforts.
And it looks like even though Gio dies here, it's going to be a full rout of T1. Faker the last to fall. And they're going to push in now. We do have all these inners up. So yes, it does look like we're going to game 5. It does not look like we're going to game 5 at this exact moment in time.
I like how you say game 5.
Sorry, game 5 of the day.
No. It feel, oh, right. Yeah, game 5 of the day. That's a very good point.
But yeah, I meant to say game 3 of this series. As we're looking at this fight once again, Gio kind of baits them, right? And then Ando comes out of the brush. They have the follow-up Ambessa ult, so now Willer's exactly where he wants to be. Faker can't really join this fight. Oner's fantastic Zonius here, or rather arm guard, ends up buying a ton of space. And then on the other side of the fight, Doran is trying to get on top of Gio, but he just spaces it well, kites forward. The shield's coming up big in this fight here for DRX, and then they just dismantle Doran. Gio dies to minions here and almost a third shot. But it doesn't matter, really. I mean, if he lives, it actually would have mattered a lot.
They would have probably won the game.
I mean, they would have at least gotten the inhibitor. Instead, they don't even get the outer and mid.
Huh. Well, the result of that team fight that looked game-winning is about 1,000 gold difference.
Yeah, I mean, it's 25 minutes in. It feels like this game... I feel like I'm 35 minutes into this game with everything that's happened.
Yeah.
But it's been a 4-dragon take here for DRX very quickly. I mean, Elder is spawning pre-30 minutes. That tells you all you need to know about the pace of this game. But it's still a 23-kill game. You know, it's not a slow game. And I mean, DRX are now in a position to where this 3-item, relatively soon to be 4-item Corki, and insanely large Talia are ready to pop off. And the fact that Doran is way bigger than this Renekton doesn't necessarily matter when Rich is still making big plays. And this Ambessa combo with the Alistair that can either lead into or follow up on a Talia shove is just too problematic so far here for T1. And Pays just really has felt quite invisible in this game.
Yeah, hasn't really been able to make the mark that he wants. It's not really that much of a difference between the 280 carries, only 1,000 gold, a little bit under. But the mid lane, that can kind of be felt. UCal having a really, really good game. Honestly, having a pretty good series, to be honest. In game number 1, was also performing very, very well with that first pick, Orianna, despite the result. So DRX, we'll see whether they can get behind this Talia, finding some fantastic shoves throughout the later stages of this game, as the Baron is going to be up in 40 seconds time.
Faker doesn't have level 16, he doesn't have his actualizer, and the wave is not in a spot where he can push up and farm it. So he's like, he's kind of in checkmate. He's in his own prison right now where he's like, I really need those minions. Please send them to me, UCal. I need money desperately. We need to be able to get those to be able to fight for Elder or Baron, potentially, if DRX take that first, and he's just not ready for it. The fact that there's a 2,500 gold gap between these mids, and with the upgraded Merc treads here for UCal, he's actually kind of beefy because he has also the Mountain Soul. Like, Faker just cannot play the game he wants to on this Rise. He just is unable to get the economy going. What? perhaps thought he saw an angle to ult there, but he had no team, so...
Looked almost like a... I don't know. I need a bit more context. Maybe I was not paying enough attention.
Maybe they're like, aha, he doesn't think I have the flash engage. Maybe I'll just get him with a sneaky walk up and engage normally. But I don't think he will, in fact. I think this Baron is probably just gone.
Well, Realm Warp was used just to see what was going on at the Baron. They do manage to get the Scryer out there as well. Shove back onto Oner. He now has the Unbreakable Will, which is so scary. But look at this, DRX just keeping them at bay. The cow throws down that ulti, presses Pulverize for fun, and DRX can take a Baron and move on now towards this Elder that's spawning in 10 seconds time. And this is probably the fight that T1 wanted to take.
I mean, they use the Renekton ult, but he gets the Fury out of it, and Andal's not going to have his ultimate, but I don't think he cares that much because they got the shields, and T1, this has to be their fight, or this game is lost. This could be the way back in.
I mean, there is that hijacked Unbreakable Will.
And Doran's
lots of tools here for T1.
Doran's Narbar in a pretty good spot here. Keria on the flank as well. No wards. Oh, this could be huge.
Yeah, UCAL needs to make this Weaver's Wall work as it is available. Doran
now.
Yeah, not actually going to be able to interrupt that. It's the public execution onto Faker, who gets exhausted and cut down where he stands. Doran trying to find it, gets a double knock into the wall as Andal will be the one taken out first. Willa still trying to get this work done, but it's Doran that's dead. And the Elder Dragon now getting turned on by DRX with the man advantage. Oner is still there with his smite available, and Pays is up and available as well. Can they lock down UCAL? That's the question. The flash out from Pays to avoid getting hit, but Oner is just going to get slaughtered, and DRX, I think they're doing it. They're taking the Elder Dragon, and this could be the way that they win this game.
I mean, such a patient fight from DRX was phenomenal control.
Man, I really want to hear what Joker says. If DRX wins this game, oh my goodness. He's just going to be so happy, isn't he?
I think he might be out of coach comms this game.
Oh yeah, sorry. But I mean, like, but afterwards.
Oh, sure.
You know, after the game. He's not going to be able to do another coach voice.
Yeah, I think, you know, the amount of time T1 was able to buy at the end of that fight might give them one more attempt to just, like, wave clear here, but Faker still doesn't have his actualizer. I think this is just an inevitable loss here. Man, UCAL's got that wave pushing mid, and this inhibitor is not long for this world.
UCAL is really making Talia look like a great champion in this game. He's just having a brilliant performance. As now with the Elder, going to be very difficult to stop this one as Jiu just kills Faker. Okay, Pop Blossom now being set up, but Jiu is able to avoid it. Keria is going to get eaten by a dragon. Doran going to follow suit, and DRX will obliterate them as they now take down the Nexus turrets and send us to a Game 3 versus T1.
And you know, I said at the beginning,